y'all I'd be back. I'm back. Just like I said I would. With a topic this evening that's a very serious topic to most of us. Probably all of us, because I made this a members only live. So I wouldn't have the trolls trolling in. If they're going to look, they're going to have to say something from the outside after the live. I didn't need no foolery in here today. This is a subject matter that one of my subscribers, Miss Tangela, who is also a content creator out here on YouTube, wanted to talk about. So hopefully she will be able to come into the chat. She's, as of this morning, was in the hospital. So hopefully she will be able to drop into the chat. If not, she'll see the replay. Hey, my little sugar wiggers, who are all coming in? Latasha, listening to your replay. Okay, thank you, Latasha. This is actually a live here, Latasha. I don't know if you're saying you're listening to a replay from one of the other lives that I did, or if you are thinking you're listening to a replay now, but this is actually a live. Okay. Hey, my Carla, how you doing? Elaine. Okay. Let me fix this too, so I can get all of my messages here. It took me a couple of hours to really get this together because I ain't out here to piss off the gun lobbyists. I ain't out here to start no commotion, offend nobody. So I was very careful how I created this content to bring it to the public. There probably won't be a whole lot of chatting going on because I made it a members live. I will open it up later for the public because, like I said, I didn't want my moderators to be having to work and they couldn't listen. A lot of times they're trying to listen, read comments, as well as take people out of the chat who are well off the subject and ain't got nothing to do with, it ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about. They coming in here with off-brand stuff that we don't even know nothing about and don't care. So gun violence in America. Let me make this statement too. If you have anyone who has experienced gun violence in your home, it will not be a gruesome live. I'm not going there at all. It's statistics. It's facts. It is what is truly happening with gun violence here in America. Now, why did I clean my screen, but it still looked fuzzy to me? I don't know. Let me clean the back of it too. Okay, so gun violence in America is a public health crisis now. It involves tens of thousands of people here in America today, as well as injuries each year that are suffered from gun violence. It's a very complex issue with many contributing factors, including guns, but not just guns, but community violence and mental health. A lot of the gun violence that has happened, some of it is due to mental illness and the lack of mental health that is needed. The rate of deaths has increased 34% from 2024 to the last data that I could find was 2023. The rate of gun suicide increased 21%, and gun homicide 57% from 2014 to 2023. That was the last statistics. I saw nothing for last year, 2024, of course, very little, only in a few states, which we'll discuss in 2025. As of 2025, can anyone in the chat guess what state had the highest gun violence rate to date? Give y'all a few minutes. Think about it and answer. Which state in the United States, out of the 50 states, do you think had the highest amount of gun violence? No. Pretty good guess, but not quite. It's going to be one that you wouldn't even think. What state? She was thinking it was Illinois, particular Chicago. No. It shocked me too, Latasha, that it was Mississippi. Had the highest gun violence rate to date. 100,000 residents in the United States at 29.4%. That's lots. Yes, Latasha. I was like, what? Because I was kind of thinking Chicago or maybe DC, Atlanta, one of those states. Texas, big state, open carry state. But it wasn't. Followed by Louisiana, the boot. 28.1% less than Mississippi. Latasha saying, yes, it is, Ms.V. Then it goes on to say that Massachusetts gun violence rate is 37% of the lowest of all states. So I had to stop right there and I had to look at that and I had to think about it. And I said, well, why aren't we modeling, or why isn't anybody going there to find out why their gun rate or gun violence is lower than the rest of the states? Perhaps we need to look into that and see why Massachusetts was doing so well when the other states are not. All levels of gun violence, homicides are higher than usual, 16% higher than pre-pandemic, before the pandemic. So it would appear there with that statement that there was a lot of stress that might have come about due to the pandemic, loss of jobs, family disturbances, violence within the home, the job, the workplace. A lot of things happened during the pandemic that would cause more conflict among the people. All levels of gun violence, homicides are higher than ever before. But you'll find as we go along, they're gradually coming down now, almost 5 years since the pandemic started. 64% of Americans support stricter gun control laws, opposed to 36%. So it's saying that more than half are with stricter gun laws than or not. So why aren't we doing something about it? This is why I was hoping Tangela could fall off in here so she could tell me, because she was telling me in the live this morning when she asked me if I would do this live, that she had passed some legislation on gun control. And my question would have been to her is, so why aren't we doing something about it? Why aren't we modeling after Massachusetts, one of the states with the lower gun problem? Good evening, Calvin. How are you? Neither party really campaigned on this issue at all. This wasn't the high priority on either party that just campaigned out on the campaign trail. The now president pushed immigration. That was his big item on his agenda. And because of his beliefs, most of the immigrants that were coming in, he felt that they were criminals bringing in a lot of problems to the U.S., and they were creating a lot of gun violence. Yet, most of the violence was committed by American citizens on their own American people due to conflict of interest. 11,600 people lost their lives to gun violence in 2024. Now, that may not seem like a lot compared to the number of people in America, but any life lost to me is a lot. It has been reignited during debates here lately about gun violence in America. Most politicians will say it is due to mental illness, but I found that psychiatrists and the people who study the mind feel a little bit different. And also people who are in the security as advisors, they argue this to be different. They would know because they're in that field of study. Texas is leading the pack with the highest death rates, followed by California and Florida. According to statistics, in 2024, there was a significant decline, which tells me the pandemic era surge has come to an end. Firearm deaths and injuries have dropped for the last 3 years. We're going into the 5th year of post-pandemic now. Started somewhere around 2019 is when the American public was really aware of the pandemic out there. And it may have been before we were told. That we don't know. Homicides in major cities, mass shootings, and did I speak to you? I did, Calvin. Child and teen gun deaths have all fallen, and that's a good thing. Texas has more guns than any other state. Texas is open carry. Anybody, everybody can pack a gun here. 1,005,555 guns and just over 29 million residents. That's almost 3 guns per household if you go by the number of guns versus the number of people. Florida has about half, with 518,726 guns, with a population of about 21 million. That's about 8 million less than Texas residents. And they have, when you do it on an average, it amounts to be about the same. When you look at amount of people with guns in Florida and the amount of people with guns in Texas, about the same because of the amount of people and the amount of guns. Gun ownership is governed by state laws. Each state has a different law that they govern their gun control with. Gun violence disproportionately impacts people of color, men and boys, mainly in deprived communities and other marginalized groups, except for school violence. That's a little different because everybody's life is in jeopardy when they go into schools and start shooting. Domestic violence usually puts women at risk of the heightened risk of death, of life-changing injuries. Hold on. Hold on. Let me get it back up there. My comments went away. Okay. In California, they have the strictest gun laws and give safety regulations along with some of the lowest rates of gun deaths and gun ownership. Does gun control reduce crime? The evidence says no. Now, again, I wish Tangela was in here so we could discuss this. My question was, does gun control reduce crime? But the evidence, the statistics say no. In fact, cities with some of the most stringent gun laws, like New York and Chicago, suffer from some of the highest violent crime rates in America. Mississippi has the weakest gun laws in the country. Perhaps that is why the crime rate there, gun violence, is so high. Why is gun violence such an issue? Survivors of gun violence are often crippled with constant pain if they survive the violence that they have encountered. Children are left without a mother or a father in some cases, or maybe one parent. If both are gone, it's possible they could end up on the state and terrorized and scared because this alters their life completely. Family members are left broken and destroyed. So this is why it is such a big issue. Guns can be advertised online and can get costly, or they can be as little as nothing. You can go online and buy guns for as little as $100, which means almost anybody can go online and afford to own a gun. That is one of the cheapest places you can compare prices and go and trade. There are more guns than some people per capita, around 1.2% in the United States. In some countries, you don't need to be a citizen. Wait, back that up. In some countries outside of the United States, you will need to be a citizen in order to own a gun permit. In other countries, you have to be a permanent resident to own a gun. In nearly every country, you will need to have a special permit granting weapon importation. If you're sending guns out of the USA, you will need a special permit in most countries. Otherwise, be faced with a fine and or jail time. International shipping is delicate, so do your due diligence and understand the laws before you send a gun outside of this country. New Hampshire has relaxed gun laws. Low crime rates are really low. And they also have a lack of state sales tax. Some now are the same in West Virginia due to legislative actions to remove firearm restrictions and reduce sales tax on firearms and ammunition. Now, I don't know how many of you listening own a gun or use guns for hobbies, but the ammunition can be pretty high, very expensive in any gun that you're shooting these days. It's very costly. There are also stand your ground states. I had no idea about this until the incident happened in Florida years back, where they had the stand your ground law. But I also found that there are other stand your ground states. I wasn't aware of that either. I'm not a hunter. I don't use guns for hobbies or for a lifestyle protection. California, Colorado, Illinois, New Mexico, Oregon, Virginia, Vermont, and Washington State permit the use of deadly force in self-defense. Good evening, Ms. Betty. Through judicial situations and decisions and jury restrictions. My take on it is it's okay to have a gun in a household to defend yourself. But do you necessarily need a military weapon in your house or in any households to defend yourself? A 22 will back them off of you and give you time to get to safety. So why do you need a Uzi or a high-powered gun in your home to protect yourself? So the laws in the U.S. across the states are so different, and the restrictions of the guns are different, and the relaxation of the guns are different. Pennsylvania law has been amended in 2011 to use deadly force outside one's home or in a vehicle. You see how the laws are different from state to state? So I live here in Texas. And if I'm in an open carry state, I can't be going across state lines packing a gun like I live here if I owned a gun and think that I can go over to Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida. That's just the southern states. Up north, east, or west, and think that I can do the same thing here in Texas that I do there. Because it ain't going to wash. And I'm probably going to end up behind bars serving time for not knowing state law. Hey, broken, but unbroken. Good evening. Much research is needed in order to get the gun violence situation under control. Perhaps a survey of the person and the state that is not institutionalized, it would be pretty easy to me. I had to stop and I had to think about this. And I was thinking it would be pretty easy to collect data from all resources needed to try to bring gun violence into control, where we wouldn't have so many deaths per year from it or injuries. So the first thing I thought about is, if you go into the penal system and you just tell the computer to pull out everybody in there who's already incarcerated, their name or their number, because they're going to have a number once they leave on this side of the wall and go on the other side of the wall, and just see what their offense is. And if it was from gun violence, then you could start a spreadsheet. And all their names will go on a spreadsheet. That's every state in the United States. So you have everybody now that's in there. It don't make no difference how long they've been in there or if they came in there yesterday. Everybody's name is on there. And now you know exactly how many offenders are in prison due to gun violence. Hey, Lady JJ. The next thing that I think should be done is figure out what type of gun, because you're going to know if you pick them up and you were able to get the gun to recover the gun, you're going to know what kind of gun it is. In every case, a gun may not be found, but in most cases, it is. So what type of weapon was this that the accident occurred? Another bracket, and that should go in there by that person's number. Okay? So now we beginning to learn a little bit about this thing and what type of weapons are out there and are being used. Where was the gun purchased from would be another thing of interest to me. Hey, Lady JJ. I think I just spoke to you. I just saw your name pop up again. Trucker's wife. Good evening. We're talking about gun violence in America this evening. And I did it on a members live to keep the trolls out so they wouldn't interfere with the conversation that I was having over here today, which was asked of me to talk about gun violence from Tangela, who is a legislator in Florida who's passed some bills and trying to get some bills passed about gun violence. Unfortunately, she's in the hospital, so I'm not sure if she's going to be able to come in on this live today. But perhaps if you know the person that committed the crime and you got his number and name or number in one bracket, the type of crime that was committed with guns, where the gun was purchased would be the third thing of importance. And that within itself would give you a lot of information to start trying to control gun violence here in America. And I only did this in America because I don't know nothing about no other countries, and it's too deep to be going off in somewhere else. It don't really affect me over there because I live over here. So I stayed within my own providence. When the guns were sold, was a background check done if they purchased it from a dealer? Do all dealers do background checks? I don't know. I ain't never purchased one from a dealer. Just questions in my head, in my mind. What were the ages of the people who committed the crime of gun violence? All of this is information that's going to tell you a lot about how you could go about curbing gun violence in every state across the United States. Because most of the information is going to be different. And it's going to be different pre-pandemic versus post-pandemic while in the pandemic. That's another bracket. What type of weapon and what type of weapon were they sold? Do y'all see where I'm going with this? When you collect all of this information and you can put it in a database and you have your computer programmed to spit out exactly what you're looking for. So now you know the ages, you know if it was bought from a dealer, if it was bought on a computer, if it was registered, if background check was done, what type of act of gun violence was committed. That's a lot of information there to help you try to control the situation at hand. It's just has gone on for so long. And it's going to be very hard, even after collecting all of that information. Because I would think it would need to be collective across all 50 states. What would make it any difference from gun violence in Texas versus any other state? When people are still losing their lives or having major injuries for life, families being torn apart, grieving and destroyed behind something that probably could be stopped. I'm not saying that it's not a good thing for those who believe in guns, but gun safety is very important as well as anything else. A lot of kids have gotten guns at home and did offenses to themselves because somebody was negligent. They were not in a gun case. They were not locked up. They were where, obviously, they could get to the gun. And it happens. So that could be taken care of immediately. Lord, I hope this thing doesn't go out. I didn't look to see that. I did not have that much charge on the phone. And I've been using it all day. I think I'll get through this. It probably won't be an hour anyway. But my question now is, where do we begin? If we collect all of this information, I just think that all 50 states should have the same consensus on it if we really, really want to curb gun violence. Lady JJ is saying safety is the most important. Handling the weapon is second. Exactly. If you don't know what you're doing and you don't even know how to take care of a gun, the gun you could just pick it up and it could automatically, you could just shoot yourself. Just think, some people, if they little, they don't know anything about it, which way to even turn it away from them. What about cleaning the guns? That's very important too. Taking them apart and cleaning the guns. Knowing what type of bullet to put in the chamber. And not the gun misfiring because the bullet stuck in the chamber because you never did anything with clean the gun. That old rusty gun been sitting up there for years. It could very well backfire on you. It's so much to owning a gun. Going to the gun range and really learning how to shoot the gun. Just having the gun and talk about you're going to take somebody out. You might take yourself out. If you've had no gun training whatsoever, you don't know how to clean the gun, you don't know the safety of the gun, you in just as much danger as you think that person is that you're getting ready to shoot. You need an education yourself when you purchase it on how to use it. You need to know the laws of your state on when you can use it. You just can't let your temper get violent, or you can't let your hatred take over and just shoot somebody just because you want to be Billy Badass. It's a lot of humps in the ground today. When you go back to the old Westerns, a lot of people were taken out in real life just because they didn't really break any laws or did anything wrong. It may have been something really petty, misinformed information, but you're so violent and you're so Billy Badass, so you didn't even stop to get the information to see if the information was correct. And we have a bad habit of doing that these days. Somebody say something, you take it wrong, or you just didn't like it because you just didn't think it should have been said or it should not have been done. Do you realize both lives are altered at that point? The one who doing the shooting and the one who got shot. Both people's lives are altered forever. It's like words. Once they're said, they can't be retracted. You can say whatever you want to, but it's out there then. Just like the gun with the bullet that's fired at the chamber. Latasha says, yes, I tell these younger kids it's great responsibility in having a firearm. Take a class to show how to operate a firearm, having it registered legally. And a lot of people have stuff in their backgrounds, and that's the reason they're not going to go to a dealer. It's probably just as many guns sold on the street, perhaps the black market, as it is from gun dealers. In some cities, you can go to the corner store. And by you being able to buy guns so cheap, I used to wonder, well, where did the kids get the money to buy the guns? But then after I thought about it, And you can go online and buy one for almost $100. Kids these days have money because the parents give them a lot of money. Some kids are entrepreneurs. I met kids down at the public schools that were already doing entrepreneurship. They had their parents going to Sam's, buying them snacks, and they were bringing the snacks to school, and they were selling them. And they were making $20, $30 a day on snacks. So you can buy you a gun at the end of the week if you chose to. It's not hard. You can borrow one from a friend. People don't think twice. Oh, they ain't going out there and kill nobody with my gun. Don't believe it. Not these days. I don't trust people like that with nothing. I would rather give it to them if it was something that I felt like I could live without than them to say, can I borrow? Because 9 times out of 10, it ain't coming back like it left you. They could take it to the cleaners and think they doing a good job by a good thing by bringing it back to you cleaned like they got it. But it depends on what cleaners they took it to, how good of a job they did. Maybe it wasn't a very good cleaners, and the clothes may have shrunk. Or they got something on them at the cleaners. It happens. No difference in a gun. Just know that they can be as good for your protection as well as bad for your protection. If you have no knowledge of anything about the gun that you have, and each gun is different. There are some guns that I truly feel that are out here in the world. They should be in the military, used for combat, for war. You got ammunition out there now. A hollow point bullet just gonna go right through you. It ain't gonna tear you all up and all that. Just make a hole, boom, go straight on through. Or it could lodge in there somewhere. But you're not gonna be all torn up from it. You got to know even what kind of ammunition you are using and why. Some people use them for hobbies, to just go kill animals. Deer season, duck season, quail season, whatever the season. And that's a sport with them. Other people buy them because of their lifestyle, how they live. They have to live with a gun in their home because they don't feel safe. Question is, why don't you feel safe? Who have you bothered? And why are they bothering you? Is always the question that I think of. Why you have to have that type of military weapon in your home. You ain't living right. If you got to have that in your home to protect you, then there's a whole lot of people I would think that you have pissed off, made mad, upset, said things you ain't had no business. And that's just not the way of life that people should be living now, where you almost making yourself a prisoner off in your own home or making somebody else a prisoner in their home. We don't need bars living like we're in prison. Children should be safe. Elderly should be safe. Everybody should be safe, but we're not. Because how you think, what you said, and what you've done. So now you got the McCoys and what the other folks was. That was fighting back and forth in the day. The Hatfields, I think that's who it was. That was then. We should be a little bit more astute, a little bit more intelligent now than ever before. So fighting went out and guns are the big thing now. People don't think twice about taking a life. It's your life or mine. Oh, you can get it too. The mindset of how people think. No respect for their life. Like, because you own the gun, you can't get taken out too. Two people gonna draw. One is gonna get the other one. Or perhaps both of y'all will get each other. Who wins? You both lose. Misunderstandings. Just trigger happy. Billy Badass. Living wrong. Bothering people that ain't bothering you. And you think just because that person walks around all meek and humble, that if it comes down to their life or your life, you don't know what kind of training they got. You don't know what they know about a gun. You don't even know what kind of gun they got. Better stop and think. The life you save may be your own, and life is short, but death is sure. Hey, Miss Jackie Johnson, good evening. Betty Harris say Gunsmoke. Yeah, they both drew. But Marsha Dillon always took the man down on the opening scene when it first happened. He didn't get up either. He was gone. But this ain't the Wild Wild West no more. I live in the Wild Wild West. Open carry. But people ain't out there just shooting guns just because they got the opportunity to carry them. This is also a state that has the death sentence. You can't get the injection. It ain't necessarily you're going to sit up there life in prison. You might sit up there 10 years, and after that 10 year, you might go to the garden and be strapped down. Have your last meal. And I read somewhere too where they wasn't letting you get what you want to even on the last meal no more. People was ordering up all that expensive food for the last meal, letting it sit there, picking over it. You don't need all that food leaving out of here anyway. But it's just, we need to change, hey, princess, the way we think about things. And have a little bit more respect for yourself and the person around you. If you can't get along, get on. That's it. We need more training of police officers. You got some bad apples in there too. That ain't got no business in there packing no guns either. They're there to protect you. But even a lot of times, people of color don't feel safe pulling over on the side of the road. Keep your hands up. If you have to get your driver's license, keep this hand up. Can I use this hand to get my driver's license? Okay? Let them know. The life you save could be your own. You have no clue. America needs to change gun laws. I agree. Tajisti. Let me go back up. Latasha saying, yes, they say don't mess with Texas. Big signs out there all over everywhere. Now, those signs, to my understanding, were created for litter. Because they'll fine you for throwing stuff out the window and putting trash on Texas highways. But when you think about it, you better not mess with Texas, period, when it comes to the laws here in Texas. Because you can do it. And even people can drop the charges on you. But the state has all right to pick it up and still prosecute you. So you have to be kind of careful when you live in a state like this with the laws that we have. Okay, I'll let you open, Karen. Shoot if you want to. You better be in the right. You better be able to prove that that person bust your door down and came through it. It's best to just mind your own business here. Don't bother nobody here. Don't make no threats or none of that. No. Do you. Live your life. Don't bother nobody. People watching and imitating what they see on TV. Well, people better let TV be TV and be able to differentiate TV from real life. And what ain't no laws out there. TV is for entertainment. So it ain't really no laws out there. It's whatever TV wants the law to be. We don't even know what state the picture was made in till we go look it up. But that might not necessarily work in real life. What you saw on TV. Lady JJ is saying 100. Latasha's agreeing. But that's basically the presentation I wanted to bring to you on gun violence in America. I'm sorry that she didn't get in here today because this was a subject she wanted to talk about. And hopefully she'll catch the replay. Being in the hospital, don't know if she's taking tests, sleep, what. But I thought when she said it wouldn't get the views that you would normally get because ain't nobody really caring about gun violence in America. They don't. But it didn't matter to me. I've always told you I'm going to bring about the topics of conversation that the people over here want to talk about. And I purposely put it on members only, not to have all the foolery in the chat today. Because you got people from around the world who would have come in here. And I felt like I could deliver it better to a captive audience of members versus the worldwide web. Trucker's wife, can someone tell me how I do change my membership to 3 months instead of every month? I don't think you can do that, Trucker's wife. We used to could do that. And I'm not sure if you can do that anymore. Go for 3 months. Because the memberships I had on people's pages, I have to renew them every month. But if I have a card out there, it'll automatically renew if I don't stop it. But recently, because my card was hacked, it started me over on some people's pages where I had been over there maybe 8 months or a year or whatever. It took me back to square one. And maybe it was because of changing the card. I don't know. Maybe someone in the chat can tell you, because I personally don't think you can do 3 months at a time. It should automatically renew itself if you got it on a card. and you didn't take the card out for that month. I don't too much trust Google anymore because of all the hacking that goes on these different channels and stuff. Again, people not being able to mind their business. You ain't bothering them, but they definitely trying to bother you. And I did see where Facebook is making some changes too. And hopefully YouTube will do the same. Facebook is going to start fact checking now the content that's being dropped over there. YouTube is changing a lot of things, but some of the things they really need to change is when people come in here trolling your channel, that IP address ought to be traced to them, and they should be taken off of YouTube. If they're bullying, they're threatening, or they're saying off the wall stuff, being disrespectful to you, they ain't got no business out here. They need to go. Because they're really hindering other people who would rather come in. Those people don't know you to be saying anything to you, period. And if their mind is so wobbled behind something else somebody else said, and you stupid enough to believe it and don't know it to be fact, if it's fact check, go. You don't have no business out here. You're not mature enough to be out here with grown folks. So hopefully they will upgrade, just like Facebook is doing a little upgrading over there. And that's a good thing. But to answer your question, Trucker's Wife, I just don't know. Lady JJ say, renews, now Lady JJ is up to date on this stuff, renews each month unless you just renew each time ends. That's basically what I was saying. I thought it renewed every month unless you have it on a continuous where they just keep charging your card each month. But I do remember in the beginning, you could go for more months than just 1 month at a time. Why they chose to change it, I don't know. I see some drop down and it says member for 8 months. That's how long they've been over there. If it says a member for 8 months, that means they've been a member on that channel for 8 months. Unless they had to use a different card. And then it's going to take them back like they just are coming in there for the first time. Because that's what happened to me. I saw Carla 22 months. It didn't mean that she paid up 22 months. It meant that she has been over here with me as a member for 22 months. That's what that means. Oh, I see. It says member for those months. Yes. Yes. How long you've been with that person. Exactly, Trucker's Wife. It's so peaceful in your chat, Ms.V, since you've activated members only. Very peaceful. You don't have none of that outside stuff. And I told you, I made the membership affordable. So I would be able to do more members lives. To me, it matters not how many people come in. I can always switch it back where everybody can say something, but I don't really have no need to. I can leave it on members only and be just as content. Because, like you say, it's peaceful without trolls coming in here with the nonsense. So I'm glad you saw a difference and you see a reason to be a member. And as cheap as it is, there's no reason why anybody who would really want to be a member over here can't afford it if it's 99 cents to $3.99. Miss Betty saying she agree. I love members only. I will make sure to keep mine with you, Ms. V. Okay, thank you, Trucker's Wife. You've been over here a long time. Trucker's Wife was actually one of my first moderators in the very beginning when I came out here 2 years ago and was a very good moderator. And she went through some illness and moved and got off of YouTube for a minute, and she's back. And I'm so happy that you're back because I always like chatting with you. It has always been calm over here, Ms.V. They got a little bit, while you were gone, they got a little bit crazy out here because of the content, the reaction content they were trying to do on me. They didn't really know me at all. They perhaps thought they did, and they thought I was this little insecure person that was just going to get upset and come out here crying because of what they were saying and doing. No, you didn't really know me at all. I'm a type of person that try to get along with everybody. But if you so choose to not want to get along with me, and you want to bring out lies and just talk about me for no reason, then I'm going to let you know how I feel, and I'm going to let the world know you're lying, but I'm not going to waste no lot of time with you. You're not my cup of tea. You don't bring nothing to me. I'm not out here trying to destroy you. You're trying to destroy me. So why would I want to be around you? That makes no sense to me. So, adios, amigos. See you later. Alligator. After a while, crocodile. Good luck. Do you? We met on this journey. It didn't work. Not for me. So, that's how it's been this year. That first year, it was never a problem at all. But, you know, when you look back at the play, you can see exactly what happened. Yeah. If you over here doing you and you are not included in what they're doing, and somebody just decides, oh, I'm the big dog out here, so I'm going to just tell everybody, look, do this, do that, say this, say that. That shit ain't necessarily true. But that's who people are. You got new content creators that I didn't even know was out here. They came in. And I'm like, who are you? I didn't even know you were out here. But they putting out information like they know you so well. It's for views. It's for money. I thank God I don't have to make my money like that. Ain't looked at them yet. Ain't gonna look at them. You didn't even come out here right. Okay? Why are you even out here? That's not creating content. That's spreading lies and getting in other people's business that you ain't got no business. Miss Aretha says mine renew every month automatically. You got your card in there, so it will renew. Okay, that's the way I have mine. Latasha saying yes, Carla's a true soldier. She is very lovable and very likable. Run these streets, but never bother anybody. And so far, I haven't seen why anybody has bothered her. She's a pleasure to have in your chat. Lady JJ is saying right with the card attached, Miss Aretha. That's it. Okay. I don't think I missed anybody. You will never hear my name ring out and miss. I don't carry bones. Most of us don't. I mean, these people don't mean enough to me to be carrying a bone. Carry to who? For what? Why? I don't care. But express my opinion on my channel. You take it however you want to take it. Because if it affects you, you ain't had no business over here, or you're guilty. One or the other. Okay? So, you know, you can't control grown folks. Let them do what they do. Latasha, I am who I am no matter what. Exactly. You know who you are. You're secure within yourself. And if more people were like that, it'll be a better place. Latasha loves you for that. Anyone who doesn't like you, Ms. V, is just jealous. I don't know what's wrong with them, Betty, but you know what? I took a little time last year to try to figure out a few things, and it got to the place where that's too dumb for me. It's too ignorant. It's too dumb. It doesn't make sense. Am I doing you? Am I saying anything about you? No, I'm bringing topics. So if you want to continue with that to build an audience around that, sooner or later they're going to see through you too. Just like they seeing who I am, they're going to see who you are. It's just a matter of time. When people keep bothering you and you're not bothering them, the bright ones are going to slip away. The dumb ones that know you're lying, but they stay there with you, they need to be there with you. I paid $11.99 a month for YouTube subscription, so I was going to waste my money. What? I paid $11.99 a month for YouTube subscription, so I was, you are not going to waste your money. Exactly. That's why I tell people I don't see ads because I pay YouTube memberships or ads don't show for me. Okay? Lady JJ is agreeing. She's saying amen. Well, y'all, this has been my commentation tonight, my commentary on gun violence in America. I hope that I've hit on some key points of safety of the gun, of knowing what type of weapon even that you really need to defend yourself. If it's a hobby, that's different. If you're sending guns out of the United States, know the laws. If you are just bullying with the gun, stop it. If you have guns in your home and you have small kids in your home or kids coming in your home from the outside, put them up. Learn gun safety. Learn how to clean your guns. Know what kind of ammunition you use and you need to use. And don't ever put the ammunition where the gun. Leave the chamber hollow. Okay? And don't put the ammunition with the gun. So if it's hollow, nothing is going to come out of it. That's safety also. If you have it where you need it, and only you know where it is, boom, it's just like that. You have to think, people. We could prevent a lot of gun violence ourselves by just walking away. You're the bigger person. You're not the smaller person. You're definitely the bigger person because you're still alive. Eventually, they'll meet up on somebody just like them. And that's when it's disastrous. Love my caller. We both be just about everywhere. Hello, Queen. Says, Alex, I have been listening for about 10 minutes. Great content, Queen. Thank you, Alex. Okay. The gun should be banned. Innocent people are taken away every day due to gun violence. We need to consider alternative ways to settle disputes and ways to protect ourselves. If you're going to ban the guns, then you would go back to fist fights. But at least you probably would still be alive. There's a lot of people love fighting anyway. Well, go back to that. But then put some rules and regulations and some stipulations on that legally too. You knock somebody's eye out, this is how much time you're going to get. You knock somebody's teeth out, this is how much time you're going to get. You just can't be using your fist for a weapon either. Some people are lethal. Okay? Most are not. It's more so verbal stuff. You ain't seen nothing on their record where they did nothing to nobody. And if they did something, it was just petty stuff. If you out there fighting at this stage in life and throwing down and fist fighting and all that, what are you teaching your children? That it's okay. Y'all can't talk it out. You can't walk away. Okay, that's you. Great live, Ms.V. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Queen, you see me. I see you, Alex. Now, Alex, I'm finna leave. I got something to do now. Got somewhere to go. Ms.V, Alex said, don't I dog, trucker's wife, don't you start with Alex. Alex coming here with all that craziness all the time. She be all over the street, and then all of a sudden, here she come. And I'm at the end of the live when she run up in here, and then she hollering about, Queen, don't leave. It's her and Tajisti. Okay. Oh, but to just to say, have a blessed night, Queen. Thank you, to just. I appreciate that. Okay. Thank y'all for coming in and hitting that like button. And I hope you have enjoyed the live. I brought you as much commentary as I could on gun violence in America, and from the research I could find and statistics that I found out there up through some of it. Most of it was 24. 23, 24. Not much yet because we just started 2025. Y'all have a wonderful, peaceful, and blessed night. Love you much. Thank you for coming over chatting with Ms.V.